If you've only been once, you'll never miss a game. You'll know our place. It's off Brian Clough Way. It's just out of town, not hard to find. Stick to the river, watch how it winds. A well-worn route carved out by our own. DE24, our house, our home. Opened by loyalty, a place for us all. From that day 97, seen every ball. Part of the cityscape, it's beating hard. Here it all happens, it's called Pride Park. Something on the road, across Road Street and Beauty, like a market taking over the city. And over the bridge, along the tracks, there emerges memories of much back. Here's where we fought, like football and trail, ride together, with the wind and the rain. Because when the sun shines, sanctions storm and sky, no compares to that feeling, that high. So wherever you are, you know where to go. You'll always be here, because all roads lead home.
The great Brian Clough took Derby County to the semi-finals of what's now the Carabao Cup in the late 60s. They waited more than 40 years for a run as good as that one. Another begins this afternoon at Pride Park. Well, a new opponent to prepare for, a new season to prepare for. Will they able to push for a promotion tilt once again like we saw last season? After the disappointment and misery of the season before, Derby County made Pride Park somewhere where football was enjoyed again. But how about Lincoln City? They took many by surprise in the third tier last season, and it's been all changed this summer. The move up to the second tier comes after more than 60 years. And there's a new duo in the dugout as well. Chris Cohen and Tom Shaw sharing the helm after Michael Scabala's exit.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the game, bud.
Well, Derby County have twice been semi-finalists in this competition, but recent years' performances have left Rams fans wanting. The Carabao Cup draw has thrown up an interesting question today. A tie with a fellow championship side, and a new one at that. How will they fare? Today's visitors blew away the competition last term in League One. First time they'll test themselves against a fellow second-tier team. It's not rain, just a sprinkler. Glorious day for some football and this strange Carabao Cup Saturday, so often a floodlit tournament. New calendar for this season. Lincoln fans should have fond memories of last season's Carabao Cup. They gave Chelsea a real scare at home in late September, 1-0 up, before going out as class told in the end. We're into a third day of action from the Carabao Cup first round. Slightly different order to things this year. First dance after the summer, usually reserved for league action. There is precious momentum to be garnered today with a knockout win. Well, there was disappointment for Derby last May after their bid for a top 6 spot. Fell just short of tilt to promotion. Will have been a welcome change for Rams fans after that brush with relegation the season before. 8th place in the end, 4 points off the pace. Plenty of talk about what will be happening off the field as well around these parts. New chapters all around in the EFL. At the moment though, Derby County are trying to focus on matters on the field. Relatively quiet summer for them so far. Lincoln City had long wrapped up the league title when the final day came around last season. Cardiff City far adrift of them as their nearest chasers. A wait of more than 60 years ended. They are a second-tier club again. And so a chance to test themselves now. The summer with change on and off field. A run to the third round, the fourth round, is the very best they've managed so far in this competition, and they were nearly there again when they took on Chelsea. Led after the first 45 minutes, but bowed out 2-1 after wins over Harrogate and Burnley. But they do love a good cup run, and can they be the ones to start their season with a win? The start of a new season. Derby County turned themselves into true promotion challengers again last term, after the disappointment of previous campaigns. Lincoln, meanwhile, were the unheralded challengers in League One. No one quite knows what to expect from them on their championship return. We might have a better idea after today. "90 minutes, penalties if we need them." These two will be looking to gear themselves up for the start of the championship season with victory by any means possible. Faces old, new and returning, playing for places. Team news then, and having sat out the final game of pre-season after a knock, last season's top scorer Carlton Morris is fit to play in the Derby attack. Sam Smodics and Bobby Clark return after their loans at Pride Park last campaign. There aren't many new faces this term. Charlie Taylor does make his debut though after arriving from Southampton. German winger Philip Bilbia begins on the bench. Derry Merkin, Ryan Brewster, Patrick Adjamang are all still injured. And as for the away team, Lincoln said goodbye to Cardiff-bound Jack Moylan this week. A key man out the door. None of their new incomings make their first 11 of the season. Tanto Alafi's loan move from Charlton was confirmed only yesterday. He's a substitute, as are Spurs loanee Mason Melia and Callum Elder against the team he left this summer. Also on the bench, club record signing defender Andre Kubish. Last term's player of the season and ex-Derby man Sonny Bradley isn't involved after missing some action in pre-season. Final formalities to be dealt with. Charlie Taylor spent most of last season on loan at West Brom, but it's his Premier League experience that really stands out on his CV. 7 years in the top flight with Burnley and Southampton. A great man to learn from for those coming through. Well, a show of team spirit from a side that largely look as they did last season. All of those in the starting 11 involved in some way in their promotion campaign. Well, Rob Street has managed double-figure goal tallies in each of the last 2 seasons. First on loan at Doncaster, and then he took his chance in Lincoln colours last season. Now it's a place in a championship team he's playing for. Steps up and up. And our referee today, Josh Smith, also a man on the up. He took charge of the League One player final in May, also been entrusted with a number of Premier League games. Some of Lincoln City's best ever days in this competition came all the way back in 1967. A run to the 4th round that was ended by Derby County after a replay. There'll be a guaranteed winner today, that is for certain. Will it be the hosts who made a good account of themselves in the Championship last season, or their visitors newly returned to the 2nd tier? 90 minutes of action, kicks from the penalty mark to follow if we need them. Here is Carlton Morris and Corey Blackett-Taylor. Noise is good in the opening salvos. And Derby were in with a chance of promotion on the final day of last season. Victory for Hull elsewhere meant they were counted out of proceedings. Still though, a complete reversal of their fortunes from 12 months ago. As for Lincoln, they caught a few teams sleeping in the first half of the season, and by the time that teams wised up to the way they were playing, it was too late. A team of big spending, big hitters. We're in a league of big spending, big hitters. They were a team of unity and a strong brand of football. Tom Shaw, one of the co-head coaches along with Chris Cohen. They were assistants to Michael Scabala last season. His new Bristol City team are already out of this competition. One more championship team will be joining them. Freddie Draper couldn't get there ahead of Sondra Longus, and that's gone for a corner. The referee is taking no nonsense, Josh Smith. Draper trying to get around Langos, and he got it all wrong, claiming a free kick as well. The Norwegian referee wasn't buying it. Any red and white shirt will do then for Lincoln. Oh, defensive header, and the season has begun with an own goal. Matt Clark into his own net. Well, at the other end of the field, it would have been a brilliant diving header. Lincoln City won't mind the method of the goal. Brilliant start inside 3 minutes, but a moment to forget for the Derby County centre-back. Last season's player of the year. But he's buried a header past his own goalkeeper to give the away side the lead in the small minutes of this cup tie. Well, it was an unorthodox method of trying to clear. Might even be off his heel. Either way, it's not the way he intended to clear. There was a hand up from Ben House to claim that, but the look on the face of Matt Clark certainly suggested it was an own goal. And there might yet be a second goal here. Into the air that was previously frequented by Dom Jeffries. Well, it has been credited to Ben House, and he was keen to claim it. It was very close either way. Salient fact is that Lincoln have the lead. He'll be happy, it's gone down under his name. Missed a few short periods last season, Ben House, but a key cog in the machine nonetheless. Something to respond to then for Derby County. Here is Joe Ward. Sam Smonix found himself blocked off there. Ivan Varfolomei, the man in the way. Smonix in on a season-long loan from Ipswich. He was the target. The referee is taking this back to the source. So Joe Ward then, he had a brief loan spell at Lincoln in his days as a Brighton and Hove Albion man. Oh, it nearly hit Carlton Morris, it might come free for Smonix. Block was in the way. Corner kick for Derby County, and we've seen how these wide balls can be used well. Put it right into the scene of most danger. And Smonix found his route to goal blocked. Goalkeeper thought about it and flew a hand towards it. Smonix was the man in the drop zone. And Carlton Morris will let that go. Oh, the 1-2 has worked well, and there are white shirts in the middle. Morris couldn't reach it. Cavalry is supporting. Here's Blackett-Taylor. And it is a good response to going behind from Derby County, in by Smonix, but not to anybody in white. And Lincoln had an easy chance to clear. Well, it turns out Matt Clark might not have been at fault for that first goal. He was nearly at fault there. Here's Oscar Frauler. Morris beaten. Tom Hamer with the header away. Here is Blackett-Taylor. Matt Clark. Motore with the quickest goal of the day for Norwich City against the big spending promoted side MK Dons going into the third tier. 29 ties across the day in the Carabao Cup. Oh, won back by Draper in a good area as well. Here's Dom Jeffries, ran into Matt Clark, who was confident that he won the goal kick there, and a corner has been given. Well, they've had their warning, and Lincoln players are assembling again now to try and heap another load of misery onto Derby's defenders. Taken by Adam Reach. And there was a chance there as well. The defender, Matt Clark, bravely in. McGrandles' ball. And Jacovido Zetterstrom equal to that one. And I'm not sure he cared much for the block he got after. Here's Charlie Taylor. Lincoln not giving Derby County much room now. Here's Frauler. Forward by Lewis Travis, and Carlton Morris always waiting for the ball. Taken off him though by Deji Alarewe, and Lincoln trying to break again. This is Street. Too high. Well, a bit of confusion about the Derby defence as well. Had trouble in pre-season in playing out from the back. It cost them at times. Price is much dearer though in the season proper, as Bobby Clark is the latest to have a word with the referee. In on a permanent deal this summer after last season's loan from RB Salzburg. In by Adam Reach. And Alarewe was the man challenging for it. He might get the chance to challenge again. Down he went. Referee had sided with Derby. In from Bromley mid last season, Alarewe traded one promotion contender for another, a division higher. Not afraid to get stuck in either. And Ward was the man causing trouble for Alarewe. Fraulo. And away by Deriqua. Forward by Travis. Bobby Clark now. And Ward. Lincoln dealing with the danger again. Matt Clark. And Bobby Clark has lost it. And regained it, but illegally. A little overzealous. There was some slight contact onto the back of the calf of Bartholomew, nothing more. He's a Carabao Cup winner, Bobby Clark. He played in Liverpool's final against Chelsea in 2024 when they brought on some young guns. Part of John Eustace's side to try and shore up another push for the Premier League. Here is Ben House. Oh, that flick on was delicate, but ultimately wide. It certainly would have been fancy had it found the net. And Tom Hamer, part of the backbone of the team last season, a virtual ever-present. Didn't feel like a centre-back's goal. Morris got a little shove down to ground from Hamer. That felt like a centre-back's contribution. And the Railway came away with it, maybe with some fortune. Won back by Travis. And here is Ward and Fraulo. Here is Blackett-Taylor. Has it back from Bobby Clark. And just lost it with a sea of red and white shirts in front of him. And Derby starting to stretch Lincoln a little. Smodics's ball. Ward the recipient. Well, House isn't keen to let him past him. And the playing squad hasn't changed much for Lincoln this season. Main talking point was the exit in the dugout and then of Moylan for the start of the season, but they have kept the backbone of their squad together. And so far, they've taken their chance. Here's Bobby Clark. Now Blackett-Taylor. And trying to get around Deriqua. Excellent bit of business it was in bringing him into their League One outfit. And Draper lost it. Could that be costly? Bobby Clark now trying to get through the middle to Smodics. And the Lincoln defence just too numerous. Well, a little over a quarter of an hour gone. And it's hinged on one moment so far. Here is Matt Clark, one man at the centre of it. Here's Ward. Travis and Matt Clark combining. Seemed to bounce off Bobby Clark, but he read it well. Blackett-Taylor. The referee said there was nothing wrong with the challenge. Well, it takes a moment to settle a game. And there are plenty of moments left in this one yet. Here's Travis. Blackett-Taylor. Well, the referee thought that wasn't enough of an advantage for Corey Blackett-Taylor. Blackett-Taylor thought it was, clearly. So it will be a free kick. Whereas Derby, or at least some of the Derby players, thought they might be in a good position for a cross. Defensive header, it might still fall to Smodics, whose first touch was far too heavy. Couple of half chances for him, couple of half chances for Derby. The real chance was taken by Lincoln City. Well, it is House's goal. He looked for all the world initially, especially with the muteness of the celebration that it was Matt Clark, or it certainly did to me. Bit of a tangle, and you just get something on it. It's a lovely little flick of the boot. And here is Ben House, going for it again. And the goalkeeper, who looked like he saw it late, at least got down to gather. Oh, juggled by Jeffries. No space down that flank. Not for Conor McGrandles. Will be a Lincoln throw, though, which has upset Lewis Travis. Reunited with John Eustace last summer, after their time together at Blackburn. Made him captain after just 2 games. Saved the Rams from relegation, or at least from the threat of it, and turned them into a force last season. They have to defend here, though. There was some length on the throw. The referee had already brought a halt to play. And now we've got Freddie Draper down. Lincoln was Freddie Draper's first port of call in professional football. He did start out as a scholar in the Derby setup. Here's Elarewe. Mangos chose to let that ball go. And this time he does get the free kick he covets. Corey Blackett-Taylor, the obvious intended recipient. And even a man of his ability, unlikely to keep that one alive. Two and a half years with Derby County. Missed a good chance to win their final friendly against Rotherham on Tuesday. Travis went to stamp for the ball and did win it. Here is Matt Clark. And Blackett-Taylor. And side down he was by Hamer, but the referee said cleanly. Heavy touch by Draper, and it gifted the ball to Travis. In turn, has got a gift of his own for Smodics, who went down. Not going out. Elarewe scrapping with him. And the coolness of the experienced head of Adam Reach prevailed. Second debut. He had to have a clean sight of goal, Smodics. Here's Draper. Nicely weighted ball for Jeffries. 2-0. Delight for Lincoln and delight for their supporters. Their first test of the season. And they are passing it with flying colours. Halfway through the first half. And there's daylight between them and one of last season's promotion contenders. And the step up in level doesn't seem to have bothered them. And it was a well-worked move once the lost ball had been capitalised upon. Everybody knew their place, and a perfectly weighted ball it was by Freddie Draper, and then Jeffries with an excellent finish. And joy for Lincoln, and for Derby, the questions must be asked. Fortunately for them, you might say, they've got a hydration break coming up. It's not been met with universal acclaim. It might just be a chance to regroup for the home side. Well, what a start it has been. Took his goal so well. John Jeffries, he scored a memorable winner in a huge game late last season against Cardiff. And he has propelled his side further into the lead after Ben House got the opener. And so a moment of audience with the two co-head coaches. And John Eustace, I'm sure, will have plenty to say now. Ended his playing career at Derby. It's probably moments like these where managers want to get out there and start changing things themselves. Well, Tom Shaw, a man with a long association with Lincoln City Football Club. In at 2018, at the end of his playing career, Michael Scabala promoted him to assistant. And as he and Chris Coyne step into the hot seat, well, they'll be delighted with what they're seeing. Bartholomew's corner, turned in by Ben House. Just 3 minutes into the game. Enterprising finish. And then the second that followed just a moment ago. Poor clearance it was, or attempted clearance by Matt Clark. Excellent pass by Draper, though. And Jeffries, who still had a lot to do with the finish, made sure to bring up the second. And it is a warm and sunny Derbyshire day. Hydration break number 1 is out of the way. Well, the first half he'll want to dwell on so far. The rough and tumble, Blackett-Taylor down, and it's gone Lincoln's way. Well, it was all a bit clumsy from both sides. One first by Charlie Taylor, and then it was Bartholomew who was sent for a spin, the one that won the free kick. Word in the ear of fourth official Will Davis from Tom Shaw. I'm not sure they agreed on that explanation. Flick on was well-intentioned by El Arewe, but the ensuing chase of red and white shirts didn't really stand a chance of keeping it in. Deriqua. And they do move the ball around well, Lincoln City. Adam Reach and House now. Joe Ward was following him, couldn't get near him. Lincoln fans are enjoying this, and they might enjoy it more in a moment. Matt Clark did manage to get in the way. Rob Street, the man, trying to feed it into the middle. All Derby can do at the moment to get out of their own half. And Arroyo just checking over his shoulder for the presence of Bobby Clark. It was a little too close to comfort there for George Wickens. And the new 3-year deal in the summer. The joint most clean sheets in League One last season with 19. Also laid on 4 assists as well. Referee said no to the holding. It was Langos involved for Derby County. 25 appearances last season around injury. His first season in England, or his first full season. Then in as captain when Lewis Travis was out. Featured at the World Cup as well this summer. On the bench for the quarter-final against England. And Rob Street fancies this. Might have been in there. The physically taller and beefier Langos managed to hold him off. Awkward header from Deriqua, or it had the potential to be awkward. Matt Clark to safety. Well, it will be a Derby ball. Quarter of an hour to try and start rectifying the situation before half-time. League season a week away for these two. It's Charlton away for the Rams next Saturday at 3 p.m. They failed to beat in either game last season. There is Ward. Or lost by Reach, and then committed the foul. Smollett's the man down, and a yellow card, deservedly, out of the pocket for the veteran left-sider. Over 500 career appearances, Adam Reach. Almost 400 at championship level. Brings masses of experience. But undone by a snappy Smollett's there. Ward's duty to deliver. And hammered away by Adam Reach. You get the feeling this one's going a long way. Bartholomew away. Ward the first man there, and lost out to Reach. This is Bobby Clark's ball. And Smollett's covered a lot of ground very quickly there to make sure it wasn't picked up by Dom Jeffries. As Langos. Bartholomew. Lincoln's first real run in this competition was ended by Derby in November 1967. Imps mid-table in the 4th tier at the time, coming up against the might of Glenclough's team, 7th in what's now the Championship. Went to a replay that was delayed a week due to fog after a 1-1 draw. Derby 3-0 winners ultimately to progress, a run that Lincoln wouldn't match until 2023. And both got through their first round encounters last term though. Away by Reach. Oh, given away. That's a mistake by Zetterstrom. And a foul on Conor McGrandles. And one that Lewis Travis might be in a little bit of trouble for. And a yellow card indeed. It could have been something much worse had that move been allowed to develop. Well, those problems in playing out from the back that plagued Derby in pre-season have reared their head on the first Saturday of the term. And that could easily have gone wrong. It's certainly a yellow card. There were still defenders covering in behind the Derby captain. Not a position he would want to find himself in, though. Two games at the World Cup this summer. Jakob Vito Zetterstrom certainly back down to earth at Pride Park Stadium this afternoon. Adam Reach looks like he might fancy this. And the Wall are being reminded of their duties. It's Reach. He tried to go under the wall. I think he hit his own man. Having to start again. Won by Ward. And Derby's efforts to play out begin. Here's Charlie Taylor. Now Langos. And Bobby Clark didn't have many white shirts that weren't occupied. Has managed to force a throw-in. You see what he was trying to do, Reach. Squeeze it in under the wall, but sometimes it comes off, it looks spectacular. On other occasions, it is nearly instantly forgettable. Well, they're starting to voice their displeasure. The home supporters not enjoying what they're seeing, not enjoying the scoreline, and I'm sure that's a sentiment that's shared by their manager. Smodics. And did well. And there are white shirts abounding in the middle now. Carlton Morris couldn't find a way through. He has won a corner. Time to start chipping away at that Lincoln City lead for Derby County. Ward delivering. Matt Clark got after it. It is Smodics. Floated a nice ball towards Langos. And Grandal's half away, back in by Ward. Here is Travis. And Ward again. Lewis Travis once more. Many men to aim for if Derby can get this ball into the middle. And when the ball did come, it was errant. Trying to create now, they're trying to produce, but the end product hasn't been there from the home team. Not sure what numbers they're looking at. I'm sure they're not stacking up at the moment. Dariqua down. They're constant in the 11 under Michael Scabala. Nobody's expecting that to change. Now the momentous season Lincoln have just had. And there's some space here for Dom Jeffries. Already one goal to his name. Can he set up one? Oh, not cleared either. Oh, it's like pinball. Huge shout of handball. Referee unmoved. And it's a throw-in and nothing more in the end. Offside flag has now gone up too. And all things considered, it's not a bad result for Derby County, given the length of time that ball spent in their defensive third. Lashed at goal by Ben House. He's already got the taste for goals this afternoon. Would have been a very harsh handball shout against Carlton Morris to follow up as well. Arm is certainly by his side. Referees are talking about having arms positioned in areas that are relative to the movement that is being made. That's the way they've described it. Therefore, if he's turning and his arm is tucked into his body, there shouldn't be any problem. A common sense call. Bartholomew. House knew he had reach arriving. El Arewe. Dariqua's cushioned it well. And here is Jeffries. Couldn't get away from Charlie Taylor. Who sensed the oncoming Dariqua and made sure to win a goal kick. All that time on the ball, and yet nothing to show for it yet for Derby County. A lesson in taking your chances. And they simply haven't been able to create enough good ones. Blackett-Taylor. Away by Dariqua. Now Travis. Bobby Clark. Blackett-Taylor looked like he fancied a go at that. White shirts always abounding in the 18-yard box and in the attacking third. It's bringing it down with control that's the issue. Home fans are now turning supportive, trying to urge their white-shirted chargers on. We've heard their angst be displayed in this first half. Here's Taylor. And Travis. Matt Clark and Corey Blackett-Taylor. It's good closing down by Lincoln though. And Conor McGrandles has sent the white shirts back over halfway again. We're almost at the end of a first half that has vastly favoured the away side. Mistakes have been capitalised upon.
The fourth officials indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes added time.
Into 3 additional minutes. It's been a very flowing game. We have had those 2 goals though, and the hydration break. Oh, opportunity, and the cross was in the end wayward from Charlie Taylor, but back in and a beauty. That's one back, and what a way to score it. They needed something, Derby County. And Sam Smodick's on his return to Pride Park, keen to take the applause. Second debut, and opens his account for the season. Poor clearance, went straight down his throat, one touch to steady, but the second touch was majestic. Well, he struck it so well, no goalkeeper was keeping that out the net. Understated celebration. There was nothing understated about the finish, though. Well, it's something for Derby to build upon now. And there's been precious little of that from what we've seen. In the air in the dressing room it should be a whole lot lighter now when the teams take their break in a moment, unless Lincoln have one last ace to play. Hammered away by Langos. And Dariqua cautious with Blackett-Taylor over his shoulder. Well, there'll be a big cheer for Smolix in a moment, you should imagine. A popular return made ever more popular by quite the finish. One last act to the first half. Backwards from Matt Clark. One borrowed time now. Can Lincoln use it? No, they can't. Time up, and A lead over their opponents has been halved by a bit of majesty. It all started so well for the Imps. A goal from Ben House, a curious way of deflecting it into goal after Ivan Varfolomeev's corner found him. But Sam Smodics, the man with the response at the Don Jeffries, had put the away side 2-0 up. A brilliant finish it was from the man returning to Pride Park. He has the look of a man who knows the job to be done. As Lincoln have shown their might and shown they're not to be underestimated in this coming season. Plenty of food for thought coming into the second half. 3 goals, it's the away side who have the lead, 2-1 at the break.
Okay, Pride Park, time now for some all-important fan announcements. And it's a happy 18th birthday to Matthew Hughes for tomorrow, from Mum, Charlie, Jamie, Abby and Franklin. And also it's a big welcome to 5-year-old Santina Galone. His first time here at Pride Park. I'm having a great time with Papa Bruno today. Welcome Santina Galone.
If you've only been once, you'll never miss a game. You know our place. It's off Brian Rough Way. It's just out of town, not hard to find. Stick to the middle, watch how it works. A well-worn route carved out by our own. DE24, our house, our home. Opened by royalty, our place to resolve. From that day 97, the scene every ball. Hardest cityscape, it's beating hard. Here it all happens, it's all Pride Park. Saturday rolls round across Road Street and Gitty, like a white wheat take over the city. Go over the bridge or under the tracks, the empty nurtures, memories rush back. Here's where we fly, like hot car or train, ride together through the wind and the rain. Because when the sun shines, stanchions swirl in the sky, no compares to that feeling, that high. So wherever you are, you know where to go. We'll always be here, because all roads lead home.
Welcome back to Pride Park Stadium, where we've had 3 goals. We've been treated in this first half of the first round of the Carabao Cup. An overwhelming share of possession for Derby County, but they found themselves under pressure in the first half an hour before a beautiful goal from Sam Smodics halved the deficit before the turnaround. We're in that strange situation where there are still 7 days to go until the start of these two teams' league season. They start with this competition, a chance to size each other up before the action begins in earnest in the Sky Bet Championship. And well, 45 minutes to go, could still very much go either way. Lincoln City making a good account of themselves in their first competitive fixture since their promotion to the Championship. The highlights from an action-packed first half are coming up next. And we had a goal inside 3 minutes. Ben House stretching out of boots, it careered off his limb, outsmarted everyone, including the goalkeeper. And the Derby County defence were left asking questions of one another. A bit of a sprawl, a bit of a mess. Ultimately, 1-0 Lincoln City, and a brilliant start for the promoted side. But still, there was more pressure to come from Lincoln. They had the chance to go 2 up under their own steam, and a well-worked move brought up that second through Dom Jeffries. Fine goal, capitalising on poor defending. And it's the start you dream of as you're preparing for your first season back in the second tier in 65 years. So there was a game to chase for Derby County, and the onus was on them to find a route back into the match. Lincoln was still offering plenty of threat, though, in their rare moments on the ball. But it threatened to get even worse when Jakob Zetterstrom's ball was sent out to a player in the wrong shirt, and Lewis Travis had to take one for the team and fell Conor McGrandles. Yellow card only. But this was an area that kept coming up through the summer, and it's come up in a competitive game. And with that in mind, perhaps Derby will think they got off lightly. They did improve as the half wore on, though. And Charlie Taylor with this cross, not to anybody in a white shirt, but then it was dumped right at the feet of one. And a brilliant effort from Sam Smodics to halve the arrears just before half-time. Back in this July from Ipswich after his loan the second half of last season. There is an appearance-based obligation to buy for him, and he is quickly endearing himself all over again to Derby County supporters with moments like this, one that was vastly needed. Some way to get your team back into the game. And so the second 45 minutes is set up rather nicely. This is one of 29 ties up and down the country across the Carabao Cup first round. We've seen action over the previous couple of nights as well. Bristol City, a championship side, dumped out by League Two opposition on Thursday. We saw Wrexham beaten by Middlesbrough last night. And then the early kick-off, Cambridge United were the next team to book their spots in round 2. They're still playing between Queen's Park Rangers and Millwall. In fact, they're headed for penalties, that one finishing 1-1 after 90 minutes. Some big games involving big teams, and Burnley, relegated from the Premier League last season, losing 1-0 to Notts County at half-time in their game. Cardiff City, another side like Lincoln City, promoted to the Championship, 2-1 up against Swindon Town. Moving on as well, Stockport Doncaster. That'll be a good game in League One if the previews are set to be believed this season. 0-0 in that one. Preston are playing at Goodison Park today. They're 1-0 down against Huddersfield with 10 men. Preston North End. And on this bumper day of action, as it stands, still plenty of teams headed for the penalty shootout as well that will follow after 90 minutes. And the action continues into the week as well. West Ham United, though, haven't been at this stage in the Carabao Cup for a while. They are leading Portsmouth by 2-1. Cheltenham, Colchester and Rotherham hosting the later kickoffs. This one will be back for the second half very shortly.
Welcome back out. Your team, Derby County.
"45 minutes down, and the last 5 of those 45 minutes made the scoreboard read much better for Derby County fans. 2-1 down. Ben House starting the scoring going inside 3 minutes. An unorthodox finish from an Ivan Bartholomew corner. There might just be movement ahead of the second half. Dion Sanderson set to make his 200th professional appearance. And there is plenty to change for Derby County, not least the scoreline, if they wish to stay alive in the Carabao Cup. Matt Clark has gone off. And so a like-for-like switch at the back. Sanderson will come into the defence. Playing under John Eustace for a fourth time. Previously at Blackburn together and 2 spells at Birmingham. Don Jeffries had Lincoln cruising at 2-0 with his well-taken finish after Freddie Draper had played him in. Might need more of that if Derby had to come back at them. A bumper day of Carabao Cup action, and this one is an action balanced at both ends. And Derby twice semi-finalists in this competition. Late 60s and then 2009. And they lost to Manchester United. And then after a good showing in the first leg of the semi-final at Pride Park, down goes House. For Lincoln, it's been the FA Cup that has served them best. Quarter-finalists as a non-league side under the Cowley brothers on their way back up the leagues. 3 league titles since 2017. National League to League One. And 6 years out of the EFL altogether. Chris Cohen, the other half of the coaching duo at Lincoln City, taking the helm after Michael Scabala's departure. Previously had stints in Stoke's bathroom. Spent a decade with Nottingham Forest as a midfielder. Well, it was more of a rugby tackle in the end. Not many men you'd want to have landing on you on this field, but Sondra Langus is probably the biggest of the lot. Certainly a bit of shirt pulling. I think it might have been coming from both parties. You can see what Tom Shaw thought of it. High boots, and a yellow card has come out of the pocket. Lewis Travis was hurt there by the challenge. The referee called into action early in the second half. And Ben House not in agreement with the call. Well, he'll say he was going for the ball. It's the manner in which he was going for the ball that was the problem. Well, it'll be the start of a long and productive relationship brewing in the Lincoln technical area. Winning breeds winning. Oh, won by Ben House, and he might be in here. It's House! Oh, he's missed it. And I think a few inside Pride Park thought that was in. That really was an opportunity. A second goal of the game for him was there for the taking. It's just the wrong side. And defender did enough to put him off. Well, Railway got something on it, and a free man! Flag was up, wouldn't have counted even if Dom Jeffries had found the net. Never really got hold of that one. There's Langos. Ward, well, it would have been. Saw some increased game time last season after Max Johnston was injured. And they are playing for places, both of these sets of players. Here's Adam Reach. And again, there are red shirts all around. Oh, put just wide by Langos. It's a corner. Defensive intervention was needed. And how close was that one? Well, you got the sense that Derby were hanging on there. Dom Jeffries with the ball in and Reach, oh so near to turning that home. Just needed a touch. In the end, it was a defensive one. Adam Reach's corner. Again, it's not properly cleared. Bartholomew back in. And Langos was there. That time, it's a goal kick. Morris has won it. And Bobby Clark was helping him out, so too Oscar Fraulo. Neither of them could pick it up though. Lincoln not hanging around, they're going straight downfield. Rob Street the man they're aiming for, and Sanderson's had to welly that back upfield. Bartholomew couldn't really get the power he wanted. And by the time he'd come onto the ball a second time, the foul had been whistled for. And Travis had to contort his body to try and keep that ball in. Didn't succeed. Draper. Deriqua's ball. And Draper trying to give Sanderson something to think about. Sanderson too experienced to be bothered by that. Langos. And looking for Joe Ward, but that ball was ambitious. And Reach is happy to let that one go. Well, they'll be pumped up for the start of the championship season. It begins against Middlesbrough in a week's time. Lost their last second-tier away game, 7-0 at Leeds in April 1961. They'll be hoping for a better day than that one. And then they welcome at Portsmouth to the Pro Impact Stadium a week later at lunchtime. Swanix couldn't get there first, and then was taken for a dummy by Deji Elarewe. And the referee had blown early there. He seemed to intimate, Josh Smith, that there was a flying arm involved. And that's why we're going back to the source. Well, he saw it, and seemingly he only. You do have to have eyes in the back of your head. Is this the opportunity then? Well, swung towards the first man. It would have needed a better delivery than that. Ward again, same result. Quite a half, this one. Jakobito Zetterstrom. Travis. Well, there was a bit of confusion there in the Derby defence, and Charlie Taylor eventually got there. Almost managed to turn defence into attack, but now there's a gaping hole where he was. One that Lincoln can't exploit. Here's Travis. Oh, you can see the frustration coming in. Sam Swanix was not happy that there was no recipient at the end of his pass. And emotion starting to show. It did start to show after the second Lincoln goal. On the faces of Derby players, here comes Sanderson. In by Ward. Oh, and the goalkeeper had to watch it. One of those balls that can make life very complicated indeed for a goalkeeper. You've seen them go in. Not confident enough most of the way there, Wickens. I'm not sure he knew it was going wide of his post, though, in the end. Nearly a chance for Rob Street there. And Draper also might fancy his luck. Sometimes the old-fashioned hoof ball from the goalkeeper is the right and only option. Jeffries. And Dorico might want it back here. Indeed, he overshot it. Won by Bobby Clark. Blackett Taylor and Carlton Morris combining. Good move this by Derby. Starting to get bodies up the field as well. Langos, some frustration that move hasn't continued. Smolik's fancied moving into the area. Bobby Clark will do just that though. And Carlton Morris still going. And away by Elarewe. And the anticipation was ramping up at Pride Park. There might still be a cheer for the home fans at the end of this move. Blackett-Taylor. Well, it's a corner, and in the midst of all that, Carlton Morris was claiming that he was having his shirt held. And what a passage of play. First it's Smodics on the edge of the area. Bobby Clark then burst into the box. Saw there was no route to goal. Picked out Carlton Morris, and Ella Rayway, who had reach behind him, making sure that ball was kept safely away from goal. A lot to break down there. And we've moved into the final half an hour of the cup tie. Away it goes with power by Freddie Draper. Might yet come back from Smodics. We know he can hit them from range. Sanderson lost it in his feet though. And Jeffries smartly put boot to ball. A debut. New signing, Philip Bilbia. German winger. First taste of English football in this summer from Paderborn. Bobby Clark. Against Varfolomeev, who got a blow to the face there and went down the Ukrainian midfielder. They don't have to stop play. The referee's given the free kick though. And now Varfolomeev will be able to get the treatment he might need. It's going to be a double substitution. Max Johnston raring to go after injuries kept him out most of last season. A winger and a fullback. And also see Craig Forsyth there in the background getting ready. Two fullbacks then. Oh, well, a Railway might get caught there. Smodics was right over his shoulder. Forward by Langos, but not to anybody in white. And this time, men can defend more assuredly. A miscue from Jeffries. But we are going to be stopping for the substitutions here. New rules and regulations brought in, meaning that players coming off have to get off within 10 seconds, or there'll be a penalty. Have to play down a man for a minute. Oscar Fraulo, first man to be withdrawn. Corey Blackett-Taylor as well. Here comes Bilbia. 15 goals to help his old club reach the German Bundesliga last season. Charlie Taylor has also seen his debut ended. Johnston is thrown on. Oh, we see a change of shape then. A hat-trick of changes. Will it bring about a change in the scoreline? Johnston at the centre of this move. Langos now. Max Johnston again. Lewis Travis was fighting well, and Bobby Clark now. In by Johnston, and there are men in the middle too. And it was Morris who had a go at it, and Morris who missed. It's better from Derby though. That you have to say. Got a goal on the opening day of last season, Carlton Morris, an acrobatic debut volley. There was a touch of the acrobat about that one. Ultimately not with the same happy ending. Oh, missed by Draper there, the header. Street battling away. Always tricky when you're preparing for life in a new division. Paul Glatzel has made life rather difficult for Cardiff City, promoted along with Lincoln. 2-2 in their game with Swindon. No such trouble for last season's League One champions in this one so far. And good air on that throw. Morris is trying to get some clear air to clear that ball. Didn't succeed, but did at least get the ball for his own team. 12 goals in a disrupted campaign last season. He might be the man they look to. One Premier League season with Luton, former Barnsley man. Here's Ward. Bobby Clark has started the move, and Johnston was looking to finish it. Away by reach. Maybe an arm in there from Streets, and well, Lewis Travis has to be careful because the captain is already on a yellow card. And so even any perceived injustices have to be let go by Lewis Travis. Was there a case there? Well, it's definitely a swinging arm there from Street. He's got away with one. Going to see a change for Lincoln City. Riley Towlett has been brought on. Missed the start of pre-season with injury. Spells in and out of the 11 last season. And Dom Jeffries, the man he has replaced. The man who put Lincoln 2 goals to the good towards half-time. And Towler, more of a defensive-minded player. May well see a shift around again in terms of shape. Sometimes possession stats tell you no story at all, but nigh on 70%, that is a massive number in favour of Derby County, and it's been the same all the way through the game. Creating chances that are going to trouble Lincoln, that has been something that's been beyond them largely. Here's Bobby Clark. And Johnston was getting into space ahead of him. It was Reach who was in the way. Here's Draper. And Adam Reach now. Both in action, both plotting the next move. And we'll have a little break to do it in now as the teams hydrate. And you can hear what the Pride Park home fans and a generous proportion of the way, I think. Think of the break we're having. Plenty of them over the summer. The first one came at an opportune time for Derby County. They'd just conceded a second goal, and on the back of it, they scored their first. It was Sam Smoddix who got it, and what a peach of a goal it was. Any excuse to see it again. Taylor's cross, nobody in the area, but it fell right at his feet, and then a moment of magic. Well, he won the Golden Boot at Blackburn under John Eustace in 2023-2024. 27 goals that season for Sam Smoddix, reuniting with his current boss for a third stint together. Certainly not the longest journey Lincoln fans will make this season. An hour and a half up the A46. 44 miles between the two grounds as the crow flies. And it's the Lincoln camp that is the happier one still, though their margin was trimmed before half-time. And we've now reached a sort of stalemate, really. And the Railway had a foot in and won the ball off the grounded Carlton Morris, away by Sanderson.
This afternoon's official Carabao Stadium attendance, 11,095. 11,095 for everyone at Derby County.
Advantage played in favour of Derby. There's Craig Forsyth. Bobby Clark. Oh, got the 1-2 away. Nicely worked one with Bilbia. But the cross couldn't find a Derby shirt. Still building, still probing, still unable to land anything more than the jab. Is it the calm before the storm? Are we in for a blockbuster finale? There has been a permanent Derby presence in the Lincoln half of the field for some time. It's servicing them in the right way that's been the issue, though. Here's Max Johnston. Smolix took a little bit too long on the ball there. Wasn't going to let Adam reach past him a second time. He's hurt himself in the process, though. It's an inventive way of going back to the goalkeeper by Max Johnston. Here's Forsyth. And Travis. Langos. It's a good job of controlling the game Lincoln are executing. Haven't panicked. With so much possession against them, so much territory against them. And Draper trying to open up the play a little bit. And Forsyth was forced to jump in. He got just enough on it. Goalkeeper called upon, though. Would have been difficult. Hamer was bearing down on goal. Not a man you expect to see in that position too often. Home side being roared on. Morris. Well, they called him to shoot. And a good ball to his feet by Bilbia. And then the opportunity was quickly over. As House is down and got support from Deriqua. And another Lincoln goal. What would that do to Derby's morale? Varfolomeev. Well, the chase on from reach, he was always going to be a second favourite there. There's Jürgen Salverson. Missed the start of last season with a knee injury. Keen to start this one in the right way. And his side might well need him. Need a goal from somewhere. Here is Rob Street. Bartholomew. Ben House now. That move won appreciation from the away supporters. All through the legs, clever from Draper. And this is House. And Zetterstrom having to tip it behind for a corner. And they can still pull the strings, Lincoln City. Ben House enjoying his football this afternoon. Zetterstrom not nearly as busy as he was at times in the first half since half-time, but he was needed there. Might have even taken a little deflection from Sanderson's leg. And a great ball to set him up from Draper. And House already in the mood for goals. Now the Railway looked like he kept it alive for the moment. Only prolonged the move for a few seconds more. Go for Sheffield Wednesday. Looking to rebuild after a miserable last season against Bolton Wanderers. And Leicester City hoping for a soft landing after their relegation. 2-0 up in their first competitive fixture of the season against Northampton. Bobby Clark couldn't get there. Hamer beat him to it. Here's McGrandles. And Sanderson taking it off Draper after his heavy touch. Still circling. Here is Langos. Smodics is trying to direct his white-clad teammates. Here is Travis. Into the final quarter of an hour, and the assignment remains as it was at half-time for Derby. Here's Sanderson. Must find a goal. Morris waiting for that ball in the centre. The offside flag had been raised against Philip Bilbia. Changes. Action on both benches. Salverson's been waiting for some time for his entry. But at first, it's going to be the away changes. Freddie Draper removed for Tanto Alafi, in on a season-long loan from Charlton with an option to buy. Makes his debut. House is also going to depart. And on comes Mason Melia, the Ireland international on loan from Tottenham. Much hype about him back home. Man from County Wicklow. And Rob Street also making way. That was for Rico Hackett. There is an onus, as I said earlier, about players getting on and off their field quickly now. It's a frenzied affair. And so Salverson has now been allowed to enter on. And Sam Smodics, the man he has replaced. A whole new cast then for the final 10 minutes of normal time at least. It will be penalties that Derby will be playing to reach. But they're going to have to be tighter in moments like that. A stray from the boot of Sanderson. Couple of bodies going for the same ball, and that means a Lincoln corner. Morris it was who got the final touch. Jens-Jürgen Salvesen brought on to have an effect at the other end of the field. It's another striker, Tanto Alafi. He'll be wanting to get a touch on this. They're right down the other end of the ground and awaiting patiently. In from Varfolomeev. Hamer was up for it, but it was a defensive header. Varfolomeev again. And it's the other side of the corner flag this time. And Hamer preparing to go long. Goalkeeper's ball. That is the danger with long throw-ins. Langos. Lincoln feel like they're growing back into the game. And foul on Alafi as well from Sanderson. Little he can do now. Made all his changes. And maybe a chance to seal it. And wide. And it looked like it sat up nicely for a moment. Rico Hackett having a go. Joint top scorer last season in Lincoln colours. We've had a fine goal at that end of the ground already this afternoon. That would have been equally fine. Mason Mealy is the man making a run through the middle, and he was knocked down there by Langos. They're carrying on. And hammered clear by Johnston. Advantage was played. Back in by Deriqua and Hackett over the bar. Tried to float it in, and a second chance in 2 minutes for Rico Hackett. And he's seeing plenty of the ball as Lincoln have come alive again. Couldn't quite keep it down. And it's Derby who are now struggling to get the ball forward. They've got an advantage here with Bobby Clark. Men in the middle waiting for a ball in. Travis now who might deliver it. Any man in a white shirt would do at this stage. And it's Varfolomeev trying to stop that ball in. Towards Salvesen. Too high for him. Johnston back in. Nobody in Derby White around it. Here's Sanderson. Langos fired that one in when less was needed. Lincoln players camp behind the ball. Sanderson. Bilbia. Carlton Morris and Salverson, away by McGrandles. Chance to get it back in, and that was straight at the goalkeeper. Joe Ward, who had the go. And a promising move, or set of moves, comes to nothing again. Well, all those moves combine to bring in frustrating moments like that, and a chance for Lincoln to eat up more of the time remaining, of which there isn't much. Langos clearing. Some have seen enough. As far as they're concerned, the Carabao Cup foray over for another year for Derby County. Slung in from Hamer. Away by Bilbia. Carlton Morris is going to chase it all the way down, and why not? Stranger things have happened. Late goal for Leyton Orient. So Oxford may be one of those sides heading out of the Carabao Cup at the first round stage. Having dipped into Sky Bet League One this season, it certainly looks as if they'll be exiting at the first round stage.
Substitution for Lincoln City.
Lincoln have one substitution remaining, and it will be a man who knows Pride Park well. Adam Reach coming off first, and then Callum Elder. One to play against the side he most recently played for. Up towards Salverson, and again away by Elarewe. Johnson trying to start the move going, might yet finish it. Stopped by Varfolomeev. Shouts for a high foot, nothing was given. Langos. Couldn't bring in Bobby Clark. Lincoln are doing well to clear everything. Bilbia couldn't control. That one got away from him. And there have been errors throughout this game from Derby County. Not much time to make many more of them. And their next away trip will take them up to the northeast. And they will be travelling buoyantly if it stays like this. Lango suddenly found he was in a bit of a battle with Melia.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 4 minutes added time.
For the additionals.
4 minutes added time.
And those that are left of the home crowd trying to rouse Derby County. Bilbia and Morris. Bobby Clark now. Straight for the shot, but couldn't get a clean strike at goal. Towler who blocks it. Johnston not hanging around for the throw-in. Bobby Clark. Felled on the edge of the area. It was a firm challenge from Towler. Referee was happy with it. And Hackett has found Melia, who's fleet of foot but had 3 white shirts on him. And it's gone Lincoln's way, and it's not going to placate the home fans. Malafi, the latest man to hit the deck. Lincoln are closing out this victory, or so it seems. That's what they did so many times in Sky Bet League One last season. Oh, it stayed in. And there was no way of advancing. Calamelda held by Langos. 3 years at Pride Park. Brought in the Paul Warne days. Struggled with injury in the League One promotion season and thereafter. His side, though, are getting the better of his old team. And you can tell by the number of red and white shirted bodies in or not in Zetterström's penalty area what Lincoln want to do with this. Over half the added time has elapsed, and Derby County, having had so much of the ball and so much territory, have been unable to break down the side, returning to the second tier after a lifetime for many. And what a source of encouragement for Lincoln City. They will now know they can go toe-to-toe with sides who fought it out at the top end of the table last term. In a summer of quiet recruitment, has been the source of much angst for Derby County fans, and that angst has been voiced at times this afternoon. In by Johnston. Salverson couldn't control. He'd try and find Bobby Clark. Neither could get the ball towards goal, and we're in the last minute of added time. And Laffy wants to finish it here. Well, all that Lincoln have to do now is keep the ball. Hackett looking for a Laffy. Not tempted to go for a goal on debut. McGrandles. Sanderson with his body across. And Stockton going for a corner, the damage might well be done. And there's a real exodus in the stands now. What a start to the season for Lincoln City. Last season's third-tier champions have begun with a win in the Carabao Cup. And the managerial duo on the first day in the big job have seen their team through to victory. And they'll be full of belief now coming into the weeks ahead. Took their chances when they were served to them. Benhouse starting the scoring early on. And that was a foundation that they built on. Dom Jeffries, not long before half-time. And it looked like they might cruise from that point on. Did spark a resurgence from Derby after that, but it was too little too late. And the Imps' strong first half has carried them through to victory and into the second round. For Derby, it ends, despite the heroics of Sam Smollett to get them back into the game. Pick of the goals for the man returning for another season. It was not to be in the second half, and matters of the league now will be at the forefront of their minds, as they hope they can fill in some gaps in their squad. That's the aim. It's been talked about by John Eustace. Another week to go until the league season starts. Some green shoots, some positives, but ultimately it is a defeat. Well, a happy day in the job, a first day in the job. Chris Cohen, Tom Shaw stepping up after Michael Skubala left for new pastures. And they've started with a win as well. Plenty to work on still. Another week to go before the start of the season. The league season is the next milestone on a journey that has taken Lincoln City from non-league to the second tier. And they looked every inch the championship side, the able championship side. This afternoon, they have won it by 2-1 and move into the second round of the Carabao Cup. Well, Derby had so much of the ball, but there was so little that they could do with it when it really mattered. And Lincoln, they showed themselves to be adept at that last season, sitting back and absorbing pressure. Didn't need to score multiples against sides when they could happily contain, and they did happily contain in that second half. And they brought themselves through to the finish. No need for fireworks in the end. Very few forays forward. Did what they needed to do in the first half, and the damage ultimately was too heavy coming into the second. So disappointment for Derby County, who will start their league season in 7 days' time against Charlton. And then it's a return to Pride Park with Cardiff, another newly promoted side, in 2 weeks' time. They will be their first league visitors of the season. These two will meet again on Boxing Day. Derby at home again. And then the third instalment will be in April. But for the Lincoln supporters, it is a day to savour and to remember, the highlights of which are coming up next. A goal inside 3 minutes, Ben House the scorer. Confusion and a mix-up at the back for Derby County. And it was the Imps who were ahead. Ivan Varfolomeyev's corner, but nicely, an outstretched boot was all it took. And it could have been even sweeter on many an occasion. Lincoln City growing into the game, and then they did take their chance with Dom Jeffries. Poor defending gave them the ball, and Jeffries the man to send it home with a composed finish. And so Lincoln City were flying. And Derby vastly needed a change in fortunes. It nearly got even worse for them. A poor ball out from Jakob Zettersnor. And Lewis Travis was given a yellow card for bundling over Conor McGrandles. The sort of mistake that will need to be cleaned up in training in the week to come. Derby did start to find their feet, though. It took them nearly half of the game. Across from Charlie Taylor. Looked innocuous and was only half cleared. Sam Smolix did the rest, and did it in style. And some hit. He'll take some battering this season. Come the second half, though, Lincoln looked dangerous again. Ben House sent through. Faintest of touches from Charlie Taylor. Saw it behind for a corner. Lincoln weren't done, though, with 2 goals. Their appetite not sated. And very much could have been 3-1 when Adam Reach was beaten to the ball by Sondra Longus. And only a tap-in was needed. And Derby went about settling the score. Bobby Clark with his jaunt forward found Carlton Morris. And Carlton Morris only found the extended boot of Deji Elarewe. And it was the sort of chance that would proliferate in the second half as Derby kept on coming forward. Ultimately, though, the path to goal was blocked off. And Lincoln's appetite for a third goal did not wane. Rico Hackett on off the bench. Went for what would have been a cute finish after his introduction and couldn't find the corner. Lots of positives for Lincoln to take. And when they did have the ball in the attack, they made themselves look dangerous. Ultimately, though, it was just the 2 goals in the first half that were needed to get past Derby County. And so, in their first competitive fixture since their rise into the second tier, they have come away with a win. And joining them in the second round of the Carabao Cup, the likes of Cambridge from the earlier fixtures, and Millwall winners on penalties after a 1-1 draw against Queen's Park Rangers. Plenty of games have gone the distance as well. Burnley against Notts County, that's gone to penalties. Burnley dropping back into the first round of the Carabao Cup following their relegation. Bromley and Reading is also going to spot kicks. Cardiff won 3-2 against Swindon Town. There was a red card for Swindon in that game as well. They really had to labour. It was 2-2 late on after the away side's equaliser. Plenty more action, 29 games happening in the Carabao Cup today. Likes of Fleetwood, Luton, Blackpool and Leicester, who got a good start to their season after their relegation to League One, starting with victories. But Huddersfield and Preston down to 10 for most of the game, but it's gone to penalties after a late equaliser for Preston at Goodison Park. Salford and Shrewsbury also heading to penalties, both sides seeing red in that game. Sheffield Wednesday safely through. Watford and Crawley are still playing. They're into the 13th minute of added time. Goalless in that one as it stands, but West Ham through without any problems. 3-1 against Portsmouth. 3 games left to come in the evening, and the action continues into next week. But it is, though, Lincoln City through to the second round of the Carabao Cup. They reached the third round last season. How far will they go this term?